Hi class, this is your instructor Jennifer. I'm here to make a video for you with an overview and instructions of the week 3 assignment, which is the outline for your paper that you're writing starting this week, continuing week 4, and completing in week 5. It goes over why the first step of the writing process and the rhetorical situation that we've been discussing in week 1 and 2 are so important. And then it just talks about starting with a plan whenever you're writing an essay, or in this case, you also have the choice to write an email. The first thing is to choose either a personal narrative or a professional email. Those are the two things you're going to write that you can choose from. So think about which topic would best suit you, right? So you have either the narrative essay, which is a first-person essay that should reflect a specific time or experience in your life that you can write about in a couple of pages, about a time you overcame a challenge, made a big decision, helped someone, received help, and then something important you learn from either of these experiences or situations that you chose. Or you can choose to write an email. It's similar to writing a letter, but we have technology, in which you are going to express some type of a concern. Now this is a professional email. It could be to your company, your supervisor, your boss, or to another company, another organization. This could be a concern about a customer service issue. Maybe you had problems with a product or some type of service that you received. It could be a request for a policy change or accommodations within your own work. It could be a proposal of a new idea that you think would benefit your work that you would send to a supervisor or manager. You could be advocating for some kind of a change. You could even write a professional conduct complaint to a company in which you believed that you had some issues with staff or some kind of problems with communication or professionalism. So these are your two choices, but you have to then choose specifically what type of narrative writing or email you would write and your purpose. And of course, your audience you'd be writing to. And these are the questions here that you have to think about, regardless of which one you pick, right? What's your main message or takeaway that you want your audience to understand? What are the main points you'll need to include to support your overall point? What examples or details will help you? And what is the most logical order? All right, now these are the instructions. And this is what your outline should include. And these are the requirements. You need to use complete sentences for your thesis statement and main points. You can use partial phrases and incomplete sentences for your supporting details. And there is an outline attached for you to complete to help you organize your outline, all right? You should also be going to the textbook starting, well, throughout the chapter that's posted in the reading and learning activities. There's a lot of good information, not only about constructing a formal outline, but about writing an essay in general, all right? This is what it looks like. It actually starts back. There's, I believe, one other page is the title page, talking about patterns of writing. And then it goes through and talks about each section of your paper and what it should include with instructions and really good examples. So I strongly encourage you to look through this body paragraph, transitions, transitional words, so that you can have a variety of different words, the types of support, the specific details and examples, more examples. And here is an example of a thesis statement and topic sentences. And this is what you need in your own outline. And then under each topic sentence or main point, you'll be adding supporting details. So here's a really good example to look at. And then conclusion and examples. And then it will go into the last section, which is how to outline. Okay, so you want to look through this. And you want to look at the examples here. And I have another example that I'm going to be showing you. It's an email proposal example outline. All right, the final part, so you have your outline, and the final part of this assignment is a short rationale. So you're going to be reflecting on your experience of organizing this outline and how you feel you've grown as a writer as you look back on this outline and as you've revised it. Okay, make sure you proofread and edit carefully. And remember that all assignments need to be uploaded and attached as a Microsoft Word document, all right? So now let's take a look at two example outlines. First outline example is an email that was mailed to the student's boss proposing a hybrid work schedule. So this is the introduction, and though you don't need A and B at this point, you can add it, but you do need the thesis statement. I've also highlighted each part of the thesis statement to show you how your thesis is a roadmap and creates an organization of your essay or email by including the supporting ideas in the order that you are going to see them presented in the paper or in the email. And that is the way in which the structure should be. All right, so you can see blue. So I've created here the first main point. I've bolded this Roman numeral, the first part of the body paragraphs and the main point, so you can see this, and I've highlighted it to match so you can see how this matches this work-life balance, and you can see that the work-life balance matches here. This is the topic sentence of the paragraph. It's the main overall point, often described as the thesis statement of the paragraph. These are the supporting details that are going to provide the support for this thesis. Support for this topic sentence. The topic sentence supports the thesis. These supporting details develop and give enough information to, quote, prove this point. These are supporting ideas, and these are specific examples. The next main point is the benefits of these hybrid hours, which both employees and the company will benefit from for better overall performance. That matches this employee productivity. That benefits everyone. Both employees and the company will benefit from the hybrid work hours for better overall performance. So increased autonomy and flexibility can lead to higher job satisfaction and morale. Employees experience, or organizations and employers experienced, increased productivity and employee engagement. And hybrid hours can improve employee retention and attract top talent. And then finally, this last main point will be that this proposed hybrid work model combines structured in-office days with designated remote days. And this is going to talk about how this strengthens the organizational performance. And it goes here talking about that in each of the supporting details. And this student added one last section, which was addressing potential concerns that the boss or owner of this company might have. This is a typical strategy for any type of persuasive writing. And so acknowledging the concern, but then showing how these concerns can be overcome and that they're not major hurdles. And then the conclusion, you do not need to have the conclusion, but it's here. All right, so this is the email outline. And then there is also, here is a narrative outline. But the thesis says, although I entered college confident about some subjects, my first philosophy assignment, though overwhelming, challenged my assumptions about learning and changed how I viewed education, writing, and my future career. And again, I bolded the body paragraphs, the main point or topic sentences. And this is the beginning. At the beginning of the philosophy class, I felt overwhelmed by the abstract nature of the assignment and uncertain about how to succeed. I didn't highlight each of these, but the first part was the first philosophy assignment, and that's going to talk about this and why. And then the next one is the struggle and growth during the writing process, and the topic sentences. As I worked through the assignment, I struggled to find my voice, but gradually developed confidence through persistence and writing strategies. Remember, the topic sentence is the point. It is not a fact. The facts and examples, your details, support your point. And this one is about the struggle and building confidence. And if we look back here, it was overwhelming, but it also started to change how they saw writing and education, and they started to develop these skills and strategies and work on their writing. And then finally, the third topic sentences, receiving positive feedback on the paper validated my efforts and reshaped my academic and career goals. And if we look back at the thesis statement, we'll see that how I viewed education and writing and my future career. Okay, so they're going to talk about that. Again, you don't need a conclusion, but there is some statements here, and you can look at the supporting details and you can see how this was structured. You do not need to use Roman numerals. You can use numbers and bullets for these sections, but what you're doing is creating this organization of your main ideas that you can now flesh out as you continue in week 4 to draft your paragraphs. All right, I hope this helped. Don't forget your resources here. And if you have any questions, let me know.